I wish you health, dear Ukrainians. Today I held a special meeting of the NSDC involving not only the central government, law enforcement, and the military but also representatives of the regions. There were all our regions, the largest cities. A specific plan has been prepared for each of them: energy, critical infrastructure, and logistics for next winter. Unfortunately, not for Kyiv. The capital turned out to be unprepared, but we will overcome this challenge as well. In fact, all regions now share one common task for next winter and also for the immediate period ahead. In the spring, the Russians are not going to reduce either the number or the cynicism of their strikes. They are preparing, once again, to hit critical infrastructure. Of course, we made it through this winter. Some communities and some of our cities achieved better results in protection and in supporting people. Others did not cope at all, as we saw. Now we must take all the best experience from the regions, define detailed tasks for the military and for our diplomacy, and implement two parts of the nationwide strategy. It is to prepare for strikes in the near term and to prepare for next winter in a way that prevents a catastrophe of problems like this winter. Alternative generation and heat supply, additional energy sources, real protection that takes into account the full scale of threats, all of this must be in place. Thank you to every region, thank you to every city leader, and to all Ukrainian communities that have already presented their resilience plans. Thank you to the government for its work this winter and for the right approach to preparing for the next one. There is work we must do at our level here in Ukraine. It's a concrete work, and the biggest tasks are for communities and the military. There are tasks regarding air defense and the construction of protective shelters. It is also clear what we need to agree on with partners for the next heating season. I thank Naftogaz, all our Ukrainian energy companies, every repair crew, as well as Ukrzaliznytsia, the state emergency service of Ukraine, and everyone who worked so that people could get through this winter. Ukraine received the necessary imports of both gas and electricity. We are increasing the relevant capabilities. Financial cooperation with partners was also organized effectively. This must continue. Of course, because of the war with the Iranian regime, there are now challenges related both to rising energy prices and to the volumes of air defense supplies Ukraine needs. But we must have sufficient answers to this as well. All of us in the state must work together for that. I spoke with Ursula von der Leyen, including about the situation around Iran and all the challenges, and also about our bilateral issues with the European Union. Ukraine is fulfilling its obligations, and we expect fair and sincere treatment of Ukraine as well, and of the interests of our people. Today I also spoke with the leaders of countries that are currently under attack from Iran, the President of the United Arab Emirates and the Emir of Qatar. We will continue this diplomatic work with the Middle East and the Gulf region. Ukraine stands in solidarity with everyone who resists the spread of wars and violence. For decades, the Iranian regime invested in what destroyed the lives of its neighbors and everyone else it could reach. It was on this basis that they became accomplices with the Russians in the war against Ukraine. Every Shahed drone in Ukraine's skies proves that the Iranian regime must be held accountable for its attempts to destroy lives and people. It is important that the defenders of life prevail in this confrontation. At the level of our teams, Ukraine's team and the teams of the Emirates, Qatar, and other states, we will determine how, together, we can provide more protection for life. Ukraine's expertise in defending against Shaheds is now the greatest in the world, and Shaheds are the biggest challenge there, in the region. It is clear why there are so many appeals to Ukraine. But any such cooperation to protect our partners can only happen without reducing our own potential here in Ukraine. Russia's war against Ukraine continues. Russian strikes continue. Protecting Ukrainians is the first priority. Thank you to everyone who stands with Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine. I wish you health. Good afternoon. Please, have a seat.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, colleagues, members of the media. Today we have an important meeting of Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council regarding preparations for the coming winter. The President has given a clear task to the NSDC and the government to begin preparations for the next heating season already now. Our team has worked through all coordination scenarios and the mechanisms of cooperation. Today, together with representatives of local self-government, we are ready to present an action plan and the tools for its implementation. Volodymyr Alexandrovich, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Very briefly. Dear attendees, first of all, I want to thank everyone for getting us through this winter. Thank you to our warriors, to our people for their resilience, for their protection, and to our air defense in particular. And thank you to all heads of the military administrations, to all our communities, to all local leadership who fought to protect our energy sector during the heating season. The heating season is not over yet, but even so, we can already say that we have made it through the hardest winter in the history of our state. God grant that it will remain the hardest, of course. The war has not ended, but still we got through this winter together. Of course, I want to thank the entire infrastructure of our Ministry of Internal Affairs. I don't see Klimenko. I wish you health, Mr. Minister. Thank you. Thank you to the State Emergency Service, our national police. They helped, they protected, they deployed resources. And they did everything possible to help people survive, especially in the border regions. In the border areas and not only there, and in Kyiv, the situation was indeed very difficult. I want to personally thank the leadership of all border regions. Everyone worked. I won't single anyone out. Nevertheless, you did a great job, and your people did a great job. The fact that you supported people, people support you, and I think you feel that. It is also important to say thank you to the government officials who worked, despite the fact that the defense was in separate communities, towns, and villages. The government worked all together. I thank you for that. Yulia Anatolievna, thank you. It was your first winter, and it was a very difficult one. As for all the teams, the government, local authorities, the office, everyone worked together. I am grateful for this. As for today's meeting, we understand that the war has not ended. Based on data from our intelligence services, we understand the programs and operations that Russia is preparing further and already now after the heating season. And the same applies to next winter. Therefore, approving the plans is already a national challenge for the energy sector. And that is why the decision at the meeting of the National Security and Defense Council is to approve protection plans, energy plans, resilience plans. It's not about the names of these plans. It's about what this must deliver for our state and, accordingly, responsibility for implementation and for the timelines of these plans.